Hello guys, we're going to be doing a track breakdown today. We're actually going to be looking at a track we made in Ableton Live 11, and we're going to showcase some of the cool new features we used to make this track. So I hope you guys are enjoying the class. Let's have a listen to the track first, and then we'll break down what went on here. But we'll just break down what happens track by track. Try to keep it as simple as possible.
Probably dating from the early 70s. I don't know the exact model number. Probably dating from the early 70s. I don't know the exact model number of Thank you. So let's break it down. So I actually included something quite interesting and different in this track. I have a MIDI track called Changes, and as I made the track,
and listen back, I just kind of take notes on any ideas that I wanted to add to the track. So for example here I wanted to add a crash effects drop, which we did in the end, but I just wanted to listen back to the track and make sure that, you know, I'm not missing anything that I want to change. And here, you know, I said I wanted a double kick, so we put a double kick. It didn't actually work, but we changed that back. We preferred the original groove of the track really there. And then here we've got bass change, so we made a few automations with the acid loop. We did like an EQ automated sweep, which you can see here, just sweeping the high end to give it like a warm feel and make it a bit more like, add a bit more movement. So we did that. That was like you know, 48 bar automation or something like that. And then we also did a resonance boost, which is very synonymous with the acid sound, and it helps you get that kind of like squelchy, squeaky sound out of it. So I thought I'd do a little bit of resonance boost. So I went from 14% to 46, so just gave it that kind of like knee in the filter, gave it that little boost, make it sounding a little bit different. And then we got some nice effects here. We'll just solo this. Some nice pre-drop effects, getting everyone ready for the drop. Bongo transition, and you know, if you hear them together. Sounds nice in the drop.
I don't know the exact model number.
But yeah, then we have the kind of main bass line of the track, which I really like. It's really groovy, kind of bassy, guitar-y sound, and I cut the majority of the low end out just to give space for the kick drum and just clean out the mix. So if you ever find you've got a muddy mix, get rid of the low end using an EQH. Cut anything before 100, and it still has that kind of punchy sound that you'd want on the radio, but it's not too rumbly or muddy. And then we sidechain that to the kick using an EQ, sorry about that, an EQ type or low pass as well. So essentially what's going to happen is every time the kick hits, this bass is going to duck in frequency. So yeah, pretty fun. And I did some cool little fades on the end of the bass clip. So we've got fading in, so you can literally just drag the corners sometimes if it's enabled in the settings, and you can just like fade clips, and that basically gives it a bit more like swing and variation in the bass line. And yeah, that happens throughout the track, and the bass line eventually disappears in the 113th bar. Then we've got the acid loop. Not really sure if it fit in the track, but you know, I left it in because acid, you know, everyone loves a bit of acid, don't they? And then we've got a compressor to the kick with a low end. We cut anything below 100 hertz again. We've got a saturator, which the dry wet is automated, so it switches on over a breakdown to change the sound of things just a little bit, gives it a little bit more bite and punch. And yeah, we've got the acid loop basically rolling throughout the track. Pretty fun. And again, sidechain to the kick, and anything below 100 hertz is cut. We also have a high pass filter on this just to give it a bit more like analog sound and warmth. It kind of makes it sound a bit lo-fi and fun. And then that's what it sounds like in the mix. Then we have this sound effect. This track's quite heavily littered with sound effects, which I like. They're just laid around the place. Sound pretty good. and they've got, you know, quite heavy fades on them. So if I just get out of, you can see how I've faded quite a lot of the sound here to give it just a bit more movement, and like just take out any bits I don't want. And that sounds good. And then obviously I've cut a little bit of the low end out of that, just to give a bit of bite. I've kept some of, you know, around 50 hertz, and then sidechain that to the kick with that EQ type. And yeah, so that kind of rolls throughout the track, throughout the drops and some of the breakdowns. Just adds some nice kind of depth, a bit of depth and some atmosphere to the track. And then the next one we've got a kick drum. Standard kick drum, so you always hear me talk about this. People are like, Omar, what does it take to make a good kick drum? I'm like, you know, you need a good body, good click, and good attack. The tail. So the click is the kind of that first initial thing that you hear, it kind of the wooden sound, and then the body is the bass aspect of the kick, and then you've got your tail, which is how long the kick lasts for. The kind of after remnants of the kick, the release. The attack, my apologies. And yeah, that's it. Sometimes I'll whack a saturate on there, but I've EQ'd the low end a bit just to round it off and make the mix a bit cleaner. And I've taken out some of the high end, so without the EQ, it's a huge kick, but in the mix it sounds too unrefined. And now with this EQ on, it sits a lot nicer in the mix because I've cut some of the low end and some of the high end to make it a bit more warm. Cool. And the next section is the hats. Some of the hats. We've got these really cool, like, distorted, crunchy hats. I like my crunchy hats at the moment. And they just kind of go in rhythm and with a slight delay and effect to them. So I do like that. And then obviously sidechain that to the kick, with the low end taken out, and then here I've cut anything below 100 hertz, and I've actually cut a bit of the high end and kind of see what effect that would give. And I've sent a little bit of reverb in the drum bus just to give it a bit more movement in the track. Could have maybe compressed these a bit heavier. But yeah, no, I think I like how it sounds overall in the mix. It had a lot of body. Then we've got a little perk loop just in the background. Nice little flanged perk loop, compressed to the kick again, a little bit of sidechain going on, and I've cut the low end and a bit of the high end again. Turn it down just to get some depth in the mix. A little bit of ear candy keeps the beat keeps me rolling and moving a little bit. Sounds good. And then we've got the clap. Nice crunchy clap, which I've chopped up. Quite nice, not a lot of attack on that one. It just kind of snaps, quite a snappy kick, which is nice. Clap, sorry. And I've cut the low end and sidechain it to the kick. So you notice pretty much everything is sidechained to the kick. That's a little secret of mine. Keeps everything bouncy in the mix, and keeps the kick kind of rocking and taking over most of the mix. So let's hear another cool little sound effect, which I've EQ'd. This is what it sounds like without the EQ. Very wide. Now just kind of cut the high end and the low end just to give it kind of like a bit of mids action. And then obviously compressed to the kick. And now we have, yeah, sounds good. And then we've got another sound effect with the fades. So that's almost like a white noise riser. I've cut the low end. Maybe modulate that. So I'll just show you how I'd modulate that. Let's get an LFO. And then, let's see, maybe, and then I'll map that to the frequency. Okay, fun. Just map that to the frequency. Something you could do. We'll get rid of that. Don't need it. So yeah, a lot of decision making going on here. And then yeah, we've got a really nice, crisp, catchy top loop. You've got to have a little top loop. I panned it slightly to the left just to give it a bit more width and balance in the mix. And it just goes really nice, you know. We hear this with the kick when it comes back. A bit of reverb programmed in there. It's really nicely EQ'd and compressed to the kick. So let's hear this. If you know anything about house music, that'll do it for you. Yeah, thank you. And then that's just two elements of the track. And then we've got this cymbal which has been faded slightly. It's almost like a riser, reversed cymbal raiser thing. So yeah, really cool, adds like kind of cinematic, cutting edge sound. Lets the listener know something's happening. And then, you know, we could like maybe cut some of the something out there. I like it how it is. We could even put an echo on there. Let's give it a bit more like movement. Yeah, that sounds good. We can leave that. That's fine. And then change the filter of that. Always changes to be made. And then we have a fade on this. Really cool, like this bird sound laser thing. So yeah, really cool sound effect. That's got quite a heavy side chain on it to the kick. So if we listen to that with a kick, you could probably hear quite a heavy little side chain going on. As you can see here, it's dragging this down just the threshold. And yeah, change it to the kick. You know, clicking this one. And then EQ out the low end, EQ out the high end, just to give more space in the mix. So again, you know, keeping that low end for the kick and the bass, and keeping the high end for the hats. Awesome sound. And then there's actually some auto pan there. And there's a reverb and effect rack, which I really need to add to the resources, which I can give for you guys, and you can just basically quickly send reverb and echo. Pretty cool. I'll put that in the description or on the website, probably on the website. And then yeah, got crash delay. Could have done some fades maybe. Sounds cool. You can hear how the fades can mess with it a little bit. Sounds good. And then yeah, some more, and then I've actually reversed it, so you then get it straight after coming back at you. Yeah, add some movement, and you can fade those into each other, which is absolutely wild. And then maybe something like, I don't know, something like that. It's really satisfying sounds, like futuristic paper ripping. Okay, now the last thing we've got is the vocal, so very interesting. We chopped up a vocal sample and just added an LFO to it.
Probably dating from the early 70s. I don't know the exact model number.
It just gives it that tech housey vibe, and adds a lot of colour and energy to the mix. So yeah, really
dating
like
from
that.
the early 70s. I don't know the exact model number of this one.
Some guy talking about the model of something in the 70s. So yeah, pretty cool vocal sample. And yeah, legit. We have a whole track.
Probably
Some
dating
fades here.
from the early 70s. I don't know the exact model number of this. Probably dating from the early 70s. I don't know the exact model number of this one.
And we have a whole track. Awesome. So yeah, the components, the main components are really the acid, bass, EQ'd sidechain to the kick. You got your nice groovy bass line. It's quite trendy at the moment. Nothing even on the master, and it's at 0 dB. And that's basically the track summed up. I hope you guys enjoyed. You can listen to it on SoundCloud. I've mastered it, and yeah. I'll upload that reverb rack to the website. Thank you guys. Enjoy and speak to the next one. Bye. Peace.